do? It's your boy Ari Double S Rash, that dude praying your stress go to the wrong address. And today we got 19 keys going live. They about to talk about using AI and break it down and explain it on how to use it on a high level.
You know,
Make sure you tap in and hit the likes, the comment, and subscribe button. This is information, this is food for thought, this is something that you'll need for the future to build, to create, to take your business to the next level.
know what the value of being a man is anymore
Yeah.
because society no longer has a framework for what the value of being a man is anymore.
Mhm.
So if we like looking at that contextualized throughout life, finding one's value is like what a man does for work,
Mhm.
the skills he had, what he contributes to society. But in a world where you got robots that can replace physical labor,
Mhm.
even factory jobs and truckers and things that have been historically dangerous that only men and men specifically with the physical caliber of strength would do can now be replaced by machinery. And this goes to a level of identity crisis on what is the masculinity for.
If you don't
And
know
of course,
about AI,
masculinity
you
is
need
not physical.
if you don't know about AI, you need to be on this live immediately. For the ones that don't want to get into the future and don't want to know what's going to be replacing their jobs, this ain't for you. Just get replaced.
No, that's facts. It's kind of off-putting for a lot of people because when they look at the figureheads of society, they're nothing. They're not. There's no masculinity at all. They're males,
Right.
but a lot of them are heavy on the estrogen side, man titties,
They
big
freaky,
hips,
freakazoids.
soft, fat, whine, complain. Even Trump yells at women when
Mhm.
while he's being filmed. He has so little control over his feelings that he's yelling at women and
And
shit.
19 keys, man. Don't flag my video, man. I just want people to understand and learn this stuff. I know you on Twitch, so definitely go on Twitch and follow 19 keys for everything so you notify so you don't miss none of this. I'm just trying to make sure I can reach somebody.
So if we're the head of the household and we're guiding, leading our families, we should not be yelling, losing our temper, losing our cool, right? Whenever I see people doing that, I'm just like, in public, I'm like, my brother, I'm like, my lord, you know what I'm saying? Look, we all get upset, but we have to have a level of calibration, of internal calibration, to like, let me bring this down, right? But see, there's a lot of practical ways that people can achieve this with ease, and it's things like prayer, meditation, sitting in silence, breath work. All of that stuff works. It works. You can. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all can actively. You can't just think and slow down your heart rate, but you can start slowing it down with
Mhm.
breathing exercises, and that will calm you down when it's necessary.
Right, right.
So at some point, one show we'll do a breakdown on just like breath work, a breakdown on the science of prayer, because there's a science to it,
Mhm.
and things of that nature. Some of the practical ways that y'all can tap into this kind of
I want to get into the
mastery.
so all right. First, let's actually. I want to stay true to the title and why a lot of people clicked on here, which
Yes, sir.
says AI.
Yes, sir.
So and then I want to get into some metaphysics. All right. And then just want to go into a little bit of philosophy.
Yes, sir.
So first, I want to share, and I would love to get your insights on how you're using AI specifically. And I know there's a lot of cognitive atrophy that can happen when a person,
Leaning on
right,
it. Yeah.
becomes so dependent on it that they start utilizing their own mind. And there's something very specific in why it's very contextually different on why I would say how men should use it versus just
Right.
how everybody should use
Yes,
it.
sir.
As a man is his mind. Full stop. Like a woman can have a baby. There's a complete differentiator
One hundred
between a
percent.
man and a woman.
100%.
She has something that you would never have. She has a uterus. She can produce a child. You always want to know that's a woman. You understand me? And not that just having a baby makes her a woman, but it does forces her into motherhood, right? Which is also an aspect of being a woman. Where
19 keys is on the right and Mike Rashad is on the left. Just to let everybody know.
reality, there's a lot of
Mhm.
deadbeat dads. A man proves his manhood through his mindset,
Mhm.
right? And his
Right.
mindset then produces his reality. And so man has always been mind. And Malcolm X had a famous breakdown about this. There's a chalkboard where he talks about man equals mind. And I always talk about man age in the sense where you break that word phonetically and you get manage.
Mhm.
And to manage is the ability to produce one activities to get to set obligation and goals.
Okay.
Meaning that everything that you do, can you order your motion to be directional to where you can control yourself so that you can actually reach your goals?
Yes, sir.
And that's a representation of being a man. And in ancient times, let's say it might be that you learn that being a man was he had to go out there and hunt. And let's say you're not that good, you're small in stature, but you keep trying. You have this goal in your mind, and you believe that this gives you status, because this gives you contribution in the community. And so you out there hunting until you can figure it out.
Mhm.
And that becoming true, tried, and tested. Number one, you break away from the home to where you figure, oh, I can actually handle myself.
Mhm.
And there has to be this moment in time where every man, right, breaks away from the home, right? You get out of your mother's shell, you get out of your father's shell, you say, okay, this is what makes me a man, a
Right.
real why, not an age-based requirement.
Right. That's real. That's a keen distinction to make: chronological age versus
Mhm.
actual lived experience. But I want to go back to one thing you touched on about the hunting the smaller guy, right? So there's a book, it's a dope book called Body Mind Mastery by Dan Millman.
Mm.
It's a sports psychology book, but it is so brilliant. So it talks about how athletes, right, as kids, the big athletes versus the little athletes, how the little athletes end up being the ones with these multi-million dollar contracts when they're older. The big athletes, they are slugging through, and but they
Mhm.
get burnt out, they get worn down fast. The younger athlete is sitting on the bench more because he's not younger but smaller.
Mhm.
And this was me. Like, people think I was not big growing up. My nickname was Skinny. So
Hey,
anyway,
not to cut you
yes,
off.
sir.
I'm checking the chat for y'all, or I was adding what you call it. I'm checking the chat for y'all comments. I'm not disrespecting my brother by not listening.
Yes, sir. so 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 a smaller athlete has to sit, right? And when he's sitting, he's watching. He's smart, he's watching. And he's playing it over and over. He's figuring out better ways to do things. This chapter of the book, it talks about mental practice, how mental practice was more important than physical practice, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of physical practice people are practicing wrong.
Mm.
You feel me? So anyway, I'm not, this is not what I brought this up for, but the smaller guy, the smaller hunter in ancient times, let's say he's not as capable as bring down a wildebeest or whatever they hunt, right? But he's going to be the guy that comes up with some kind of innovation, some kind of strategy, some kind of technology, a weapon or something that everybody else can go and use, or something that's going to make it easier for the rest of the tribe to hunt. So every man is valuable. He don't have to be big. He don't have to be overly strong, this and the third. He got to have fight right here though in his heart. He has to have a robust mind and a robust thought process. That's everything. That's
Mm.
everything. So the whole David and Goliath archetype, I think that's one of the dopest things for anybody to embody, because I learned this when I was young. When I was young, I remember my first street fight. I was terrified, right?
How old was you?
I have no idea. But I was already boxing, probably about 11 or 12. So I'm terrified all day because this dude was big. And you know how it is, especially if it pop off in the morning, you gotta think about all day, 3 o'clock. That's what you gotta think about. You can't smile, ain't happy. So, and when I would get a glance at him, he's happy, cracking jokes, whatever.
So he was relaxed.
He was relaxed.
And you nervous
I'm
as hell.
quiet, I'm quiet. So the day go through. So 3 o'clock, I learned so much in this one day. So now, granted, I was a boxer. Boxing ain't in school, so don't nobody know what I do, right? So we everybody come, and he's like just talking loud, like I'm like, why is he doing this, right?
Mhm.
So I get in my stance, get ready to fight. And he was like, you don't want to fight me. He kept doing that. You don't want to fight me. I was like, look, I don't want to fight, but I'm supposed to fight, so I'm here. So I'm like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what's happening right now? So then when he seen I was serious,
Yeah.
he squared up in some weird fashion. I was like, oh, he don't know how to fight,
Yeah.
right? So I put belt to ass, and that was that. It was such an easy fight. And what I realized that there was this: these guys are so scary that they don't have to fight. They just intimidate people.
Mm.
People typically don't show up to fight. That's why
Right.
he was like kept talking, right?
Yeah, that was allowed them to be bullies because people don't typically fight back.
Correct. And that's not good for him because he never developed the skills to be fortified to actually fight. He just looks scary. Now, moral of the story is this. I apply that to everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like people now, I hope that y'all not getting into fights. Like that's silly, it's barbaric, but we gotta be prepared just in case. However, the fights now and the bullies now is like a tough conversation. Paying your taxes, tackling your debt. You know what I'm saying? It's things
Well,
that
then it is also the virtual bullying that became a huge thing.
right. But I'm saying things that's really gonna
You ever been virtually bullied?
yeah, all the time, sir. They try. I don't believe in bullying anyway, so you know. But anyway, we can touch on that too. But anything that's difficult in life that you gotta do that you're supposed to do, that's a bully. Whenever you run to it, it ain't that crazy. It's never that bad ever. So I kind of apply that David and Goliath scenario to literally everything in life. I've done it so much, nothing's scary. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I'm thinking about it in life. My older brother was one that made sure that I went out and fought.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And not only fought, but he always was testing me to do things that I didn't never know I was prepared for or I was capable of until I did it.
Right.
And you almost got like this fear to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
First time you talk to a girl, you know what I mean? The times you get into a fight,
Yeah.
time you got me going to different hoods and doing stuff and all sort of different activities. It might be hustling, it might be working a job somewhere, it might be I ain't gonna tell you all the stories, but
that's for the Patreon.
Yeah, just no, it was some wild stuff.
Yeah.
And he never looked at me for my age. He would just looked at it like you capable. I'm gonna have you go do it. And I just remember always in the midst of having to gather up the grit, gather up the courage.
Yeah.
You feel me to move forward when
Mm-hmm.
here's somebody else. Either you have this level of belief in me,
Mm-hmm.
right, and I am completely out of reality and out of touch with what my capabilities are, or I feel like you bullying me because you forced me to do something that I really don't want to do, right? But is it bullying or is it that I fear my own capabilities or I don't know the extent of them because I haven't been tested or tried?
Right.
And so after going through all those different experiences from when I was a child, you know, you really learn like, man, you don't know your limitations. You know, and that kind of stuck with me because it was so many times I was forced to break them in so many categories.
Yes, sir.
To where it was like, damn, it just came to a point where maybe like all those limitations that you even believe in are false.
So that's interesting because you're a high powered thinker. Typically, people who disregard perceived limitations are not.
Mm-hmm.
How did you bring these worlds together? You know what I'm talking about? You see how like some people just say like content or whatever would do stupid shit, ridiculous shit, and just blow up. It just works, right?
Mm-hmm.
They try anything and it works, right? Now, and it works. Motherfuckers are making mad money, whatever, get a following, whatever. But of course, yours is always an articulate, educated, more productive, whatever you're doing. But how did you get so fearless in having disregards to limits?
Oh, because I don't think they serve anybody. I think you can acknowledge a rule and then still not obey it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can acknowledge something that might exist. It's like people say race is a construct, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's a construct, but so is love.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So are relationships. So is
yeah.
then everything is a construct and we agree to believe in it. But then you can agree to acknowledge it, but you can also agree to break that rule. And I think growing up for me being a child, it was always this, and this is the God complex of it all, that you are God. Not God, obviously, because I don't have his power, but you are God's. And it was more so about there's a true awakening within yourself that is limitless. And it was always, okay, how do you use your intelligence, right, and your willpower, and your discipline, and your strategy to bring more out of yourself? So I feel like where my logic was limited, my imagination never was. Like I was always able, I've been doing this since I was a child. No matter where I get to in a point in life, I always think about what is the version of me that would look at me and be like, man, you don't know nothing. You know what I mean? What is a version of me that I look up to? And I remember when I was a child looking up at this version of me today.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? Like nigga so far from where I am. He cold, smart, got the woman I want, he got the life I want, the money, the fame, the influence, the intellect. And so even now in this age, you realize like, okay, what are my subconscious beliefs that I'm limiting myself on based on my self-image? And science can, in logic and philosophy and school and degrees, there's nothing in comparison to imagination. Because for me, it's like that's the space that breaks all rules. You know, it's like lucid dreaming. It's like once you realize you're dreaming, you realize that, oh, I know the rules of this universe that I'm in. Like in this waking world, we put so much limits on what we can do because we have all of these constructs in our mind as far as what things can be. And this is why I'm never mad at somebody who challenges ideas and constructs. I understand that. That's why I always say, well, you a man, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the sense that, bro, your life and the power that you have is yours to decide. We obviously agree or we disagree on the construct in which we want to live in.
Right.
Doesn't mean that we can't both acknowledge the truth. You saying that what I don't agree with is when a person is ignorant of the observation, and that's why they're doing it.
Or dismissive of it
Right.
to protect their feeling of
Right.
being right.
See, I can know something and still move forward, where a lot of people are afraid of awareness.
Yeah, that's true. Back up to something you said, bro, about the imagination and rules. People gotta understand this. Rules come from one's imagination. They don't just exist in a vacuum and just bam, right? It has to come from a source, and that's where our imagination comes from. And it's such a crazy thing to think about. But it's interesting though because people have a hard time grappling with the existence of God, right? The immaterial, but they don't have a hard time talking on the phone. Phones used to have cords. You know what I'm saying? Plugged into a wall. It is not now. It's invisible. There's nothing there, right? So anyway, we have imagination, consciousness, all of these things that are immaterial that you cannot see or touch. So it's like, why would you just leave God out?
Right.
Why you? I have an answer. First, there's two. One is the representation of God has been corrupted.
Yeah.
And whack. So I understand why people would ignore that, but there's another level that people ignore is they don't want rules. When you believe in God, you gotta live a certain way.
And it's the best thing.
It's the best thing. But if you're on the outside, it seems like it's kind of, man, I can't have fun, I can't do this, like, which is absolutely false. It's all the fun. You don't feel bad about nothing. And the thing about rules from a righteous source, they're here to protect you and to give you a better life.
I mean, like, we have a good example is Aleister Crowley is known as a quote Satanist, right? A failed one, right? Even though his story gets a lot of lore, right? But he was a failed Satanist in the quotes, and he did all of the 6 things that you see the Epsteins and things of that nature did. And he had a famous saying, "Do as thou will," right? And it is a satanic saying, meaning that man has free will. Right? If we allow machines to have free will and do whatever they want, we would be afraid of that because then they can logically decide to do something that has very grave and negative and immoral consequence, right? But they don't have soul, they don't have spirit, so you can make a decision devoid of emotion.
Right.
So us as human beings, luckily, man, Allah, God gave us free will, right? But then He say, do the right thing. He said. Treat people how you want to be treated. You have all this power, but use it correctly.
Right.
And there's nothing more powerful, and this is the separation between man and beast. Well, we don't move off our monkey mind. There's like a lot of people who follow astrology. Nothing wrong with you getting into it, but you have to understand astrology is kind of like once you are astrologically controlled, you are still in the lower plane, right? If somebody see your sign and they be like, wow, you don't fit none of these things because you could have evolved. You're not controlled by planetary movement, right? That's when you reach a level of higher self and consciousness, right? Same thing as somebody in an environment and you see everybody, is drinking and smoking and you in that environment and you're not partaking. Why is this person not being controlled by their environment?
Right.
When man's nature is mirror neurons, we want to have social safety. We assimilate so that we can be in alignment with the people around us. We have evolved for that, but that's the primitive self.
Yes, sir.
So now that man has civilized, and through that civilization, he has power over the lower self. And so therefore, I don't just do whatever I desire because I don't even know if I can trust my desires. Right? And so you think that you're doing it because you want to, but who implanted the desire in the first place? The man that has less desires, right, is the more powerful
that's the
man.
master.
Exactly. So this is where people, "No, I'm do it because I want to do it," or that society has made a generation satanic in the sense that you just want to do whatever thou will.
Yes, sir.
You understand me? It's
Yes,
like,
sir.
no, do God's will is the literal definition of to be a Muslim.
Yes, sir. Brother, that's interesting you say that, bro, because as we sit here right now, I've been putting myself past 2 years or so through an intentional starving of my desires, right? Sexual desires, but one that was way more prevalent for me was like worldly material desires.
Mm.
You understand? And I'm gonna tell you, like, it's phases. I've been going through phases. I have been starving that particular hunger, right? Because prior to this, whatever I had a hunger or taste for, I went and got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was usually cars, jewelry, whatever, right? So now I don't even have that. It's there to a small degree,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not prevalent in my life like it once was. It was so important to me, right? Very important to pull up in this. Very important to pull up in that, right? I remember I had 1 year. This is interesting. When it started is when I had two cars get totaled in 1 month in December and I think January. One was Christmas Eve. Somebody where at Sean's crib, a little Christmas party, and somebody just swiped the whole white bins.
Damn.
And then my ghost, I'm in LA somewhere, went to Nice Guy for a dinner meeting. As soon as I opened the door, somebody smacked my door, pop, knocked it that way, right? And I'm like, wow, wow. So
What did you do?
I just went in and had dinner.
Oh,
It was there. Uh,
was they bigger than you or something?
nah, they left. I wasn't gonna do nothing. To me, it's an accident unless they was trying to hit me. You know what I'm saying? But they stopped down the street, and I went over there to see if they was cool. But I guess as soon as they see me, they just peeled out. Maybe they thought I was mad, but I wasn't. I had insurance. But anyway, starving that desire, you know. And I had all my life, I always felt like I was a man, right? I'm dominant, master of self. Like no, I had a period when I was not a master of my desires and my wants. And wants versus needs are two different things. And people gotta realize this. When you do things that feels good, right? Like boom. That's like you setting yourself up for spiritual diabetes. Just like when you eat whatever sweet, carby, whatever thing that you want, and you continually spike your insulin level until you become insulin resistant and then you get diabetes physically, that happens with your soul, with your mind, spiritually. So let's say if it's sex, you know, a lot of y'all young strapping lads probably have a high access to an abundant access to women.
Now they incels.
Not our group. You know what I'm saying? So they over there on some other channel. But a lot of y'all got access, right? Don't abuse it because this is what's gonna happen. It's not gonna be special to you, right? And God forbid you meet the woman of your dreams or the woman that's gonna complete you. The essence is like blah. You ain't got nothing because you've been wasting it all these years. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Look, you don't even want to be having sex with people. I'm gonna tell you why. Until it's your person, because if you're sleeping with people that's not your person, you're getting used to novelty. You'll never want to settle down. You'll never want to pair bond. You won't have that ability to. The moment somebody makes you uncomfortable, you out off to the next. And every time you do that, you make it easier to do that the next time.
Right.
So it's a slippery slope. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be an old man still talking about I'm from my soulmate.
What about the ones that's out here that's involuntary self? You know, there's a lot of young. I know. Listen,
Okay. I got something for that.
And I want us to be a little bit empathetic in the sense that
I got something for that.
we may not have experienced this or know nothing about it, but we know people that was having them dry spells and situations. But there's a group of young men out here that Part of it is that they have no ambition, they have no real desire, they have no social ability to live in the imagination, but in the sense that they live in the potential. It's the Peter Pan syndrome, right? They're not actually activating themselves, thinking about what they can do becomes enough versus actually true tried and tested and having experience to pull on. And so they know more about, again, it's where the homosexuality comes in. They know more about the same sex than they do the opposite sex, and they know what men say that women want, right? But don't actually have proximity to women to even engage with the feminine, right? And so they don't even know how to even move. And in life, unfortunately, depending on like the more women you're around, the more comfortable you become around women, and also like especially beautiful women, right? What happens is like when a man has the ability to have beautiful women in his life, he stopped becoming, a little sucker for love. He gets used to them, and the more he treats them like it's normal and regular, you feel me? The more attracted they are to him because
Right.
every other man is insecure and nervous and things of that nature. So this involuntary celibate generation of men are a real pandemic for a lonely generation.
I'm from brothers, but it's like this. You gotta shift the focus,
Hmm.
especially young cats. I just don't think you should be even thinking about women at this age, at this stage of your life, unless you are in position to lock it down, right? Look, not everybody want a relationship, and that's fine. Whatever you want, that's fine, right? But whoever you're dealing with has to know that, right? Because a real one is going to move through life honestly, regardless of what it is. If you want to be a monogamous, polygamous, whatever, an honest, real person is moving through life with complete transparency, not like a coward, not lying, not hiding, not lying to this. And you can't feel good about that. This coward behavior. So anyway, don't listen. Get your mind right, get your body right, get your money right, right, your spirit right, and listen. They're gonna just come to you. I promise you. I don't care what you look like, right? The people, oh, well, my height, my this, my that. Get out. Get your money right. Get your conversation right by learning what things to talk about, right? All of these things make yourself right. How do you do that? Well, how do I do that, Michael? She learn. Look, back in the day, they have to like each other in college, right? Women and basics. I used to so I can have more things to talk to her about. These are the things that's not as happy as you want.
Now, let me ask you, always had issues with chicks. Make sure that y'all get
You know, to us, it sounds so like
check two. Can y'all hear me now? How we sound?
y'all hear us now. Let us put a one in if y'all can start when y'all hearing us.
What about now? Put ones up in the chat. We're gonna move forward. I know y'all can hear me now. I just turned it all the way off. I was hoping that I could have this in the background and it's a vibe, but we're gonna figure that out.
I mean, what about now? We can't be still now, Jack.
Let me know. Put a one in the chat if we fixed it.
It's not better.
Not better.
There's a one. There's an A1. But okay, better. We get you. Okay. I bet.
There we go.
Send me the link so I can send it out so I can be sure.
I got you. What was we still talking about these involuntary celibates, then we'll
Yes,
get back to this AI.
Yes, sir.
Because as we were talking about, like, yeah, have you never had an issue with women. A lot of these young men, they're doing all the things that you're saying, right? They're working out. They are focused on getting money and things of that nature,
Mhm.
right? And the question becomes is like,
This is a good link for to post on Instagram
yeah, this should be the correct one.
because it's the restream.
Oh no, I'll post that.
Okay.
That was gonna have everybody on the back end pulling up.
Muting us,
Uh-huh.
giving us backgrounds.
So let me find that. Y'all catching these live streams.
It's real in the field, baby. Yeah, I wish I could see the comments.
They right there.
Where? But there? You think I can see?
Well, they on that.
Boy, Jack.
They on that screen. No, I was just thinking about all the young men that I believe that are doing what they're doing, right? And they still not getting the results that they wish they wanted to get. You know, that's where a lot of the problem is coming, in a sense, to where they need that next step, right?
I mean, what do you think? I think they should not be concentrating on women. I think if you're working on getting your career, setting the foundation for your life, money, physical, your health, your mind.
Where do they go meet women nowadays? Where do they attract women? Do they just get them online?
Not in the gym.
Just
I
Uber
mean,
them on
wherever,
Uber?
yeah, Uber, women eats, Uber eats. Nah, look, here's what I'm saying. Think about if you're in the midst of locking yourself in financially, and you're never locked in. It's always you're always striving for more. But I'm just saying you're well on your way, right? You are doing events or being at events, right? Or maybe at the workplace or at the gym. You know, that's how you start meeting people. Doing it at the mass gym, doing things that are productive to who you are. I think it's best to meet people like that. You know, I used to think that people meeting people online was cool, but I just don't trust people enough for that to be cool. It's a good concept per se, but people take it too far. You know what I'm saying? People construct a fake avatar of who they are, and that's it, and they become lazy. They don't have the confidence to step up to somebody and speak to them. You know what I mean? It just gets weird.
Somebody say the bookstore, the coffee shops, right? And this is where, we have events. You can always go to one of 19 Keys events. You go find you them ones that you need to be tapped in with. I promise you, if you ain't come to the event, that's why you ain't meet your wife. You know what I'm talking about? You blocking all of your blessings. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You thought you wasn't supporting me. No, you weren't supporting you. Also, again, as a man, there's certain things you do need to work on yourself. And I think what I have seen with a lot of younger men is that they become so love obsessed. You understand me?
Yeah.
These lover boys. You understand me? It's nothing wrong with being in love with a woman and loving a woman to life.
I'm putting this in the stream.
Yeah, but we are at a point in time where you need to be a full functioning man, because I've seen young men who I see had great potential, and they chose women that took all of their energy away from them. You understand me? And if you're with a woman and you're not getting better in life, this is something to be able to audit. Because she should bring increase.
Yeah,
You feel me?
sure.
Because it is definitely going to cost you. So especially depending on how you think about living, whether you think about 100, 100 or 50, 50 or 60, 30, however you plan on going about that, I believe you should go into a partnership.
What do you think it should be?
I think, I'm up to 0.1% on the planet, so I can't speak from my perspective of like what I can do. I will say that y'all should go into a relationship as a partnership to empower each other so that you can get the ideal situation that you want. Right. So let's say that if a woman doesn't want to pay bills and rent and things of that nature, then she should help that man so he can get to a point
For sure.
so that he can pay all the bills.
100%.
If he is already there, then that man, of course, gets to choose whoever he wants in his situation. But if we're in this economy and these are two people that believe in each other, she see a man with a vision that's already building, she believes she can contribute, because otherwise she comes in as another bill. right?
Yeah.
She needs to come in as an investment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he needs to get a return on that investment by her helping him and partnering with him in building so that he can actually scale and sustain right their life over time comfortably, not struggling.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes a woman don't mind a man struggling. No, that man deserves peace as well, right? I'm not saying he doesn't have challenge, but the challenge is the next level, not struggling at this level.
Right. And not hassling him for him struggling. So here's the thing too, like
because we got to cut your wisdom, but when look at the great prophets. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his first wife was rich. You know what I mean? Jesus, how did he get money? Women. Women were giving Jesus money, helping with his endeavors and his mission.
Right.
You understand me? So when you look at, two of the most successful figures that we remember throughout history and time, we talk about the Black Panthers. Who was powering that up? That was women behind the scenes. We've created this dynamic between men and women to where your money and your ability to provide is connected to your masculinity in a way. But when your mission is so big, you never have enough, right? And so therefore, the people that come in should be helping you with that vision. And so it even says in the Quran, don't get you a broke woman. If you smart, you feel me? Because if you a man with a vision, you either that woman comes in with not particularly money per se, but typically you're talking about a woman that comes from a family, good background. Today you're talking about a woman that's educated. You understand me? You're talking about somebody that comes in with skills, comes in with the right mindset, that wants to contribute and help and things of that nature. It's like, how are you judging how good of a partner she's going to be for the life you want to build?
Yeah, people gotta make wise decisions. See, I be simplifying things and I lay a general blanket out, but there's always room for nuance for everything and everybody. But generally speaking, I think fellas should be doing their best to abstain, not just from sex, but from dating all along until they're ready. This is what I'm talking about. Until you're like, you know what? It's time for me to take life serious and find somebody and lock in with. Until then, it's best to not be, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to waste a lot of energy, time, money. Look,
that's right.
Or maybe you're not buying her things, but you going out to eat. That shit adds up, right? You get home late. That adds up your time and attention. Time and attention is such a valuable disconnected. Asset. Your attention, the things that you spend a lot of attention doing, you become good at, right? Let's say you have a phenomenal date, right, with somebody that's super fine, but it ain't nothing really, like, for real. What's it worth? We went out, we had a ball, we went to whatever is the hot spot, smash, that was a vibe, but now she's off to the next man, you're off to the next woman.
Let's be honest, like, the ones that you want, you wouldn't respect them if you know what they did.
If it's not properly vetted,
yeah. Sure. Well, a lot of the women that's online, let's be honest about it. You know what I mean? These are bodies that are allowing themselves to go through extreme demoralization.
Do you think that's what people want? Fellas want though?
Well, I mean, men are obsessive creatures based on what we visually see. I don't think that's what we really want. We're talking long term, but a lot of us be seeking short term, right? And in that short term, end up becoming long term because you become infatuated with lust.
Yeah, and if a connection grows that is not a good connection, and then you be locked into a lustful war with somebody that you don't really like, but you like. Right. You
crave the flesh.
Yeah, you have a this false sense of possession over that person, and she for you is jealousy. And look, the reason is jealousy and all that shit because both of y'all want some bullshit, right? So when you really locked in with somebody for real, when you're really on your shit, that means you've chosen somebody that's on their shit. Y'all ain't you ain't thinking about what's in her phone or any of that kind of weird shit, right? They're gonna be right and exact on point. So are you. See, these are issues that you should not be dealing with in a relationship. That's like when you're 18, 19. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you're too young, honestly.
Yeah, and growing up in Oakland, California, my whole thing was, we didn't grow up in the tricking era. You understand me? Like, and this generation got it even worse because they paying for porn. You understand?
That's crazy.
Fans, they sending cash apps. They tricking on TikTok by sending gifts and all kinds of different things. There's so many ways to where your spirit tricks and you're just constantly leaking and giving energy in order to try to receive some sort of reward and presence. And I'm gonna just tell you, man, most of these women ain't worth it. And it's free, and
Well,
you're paying for things that are free.
it's worse than
No,
that.
that's the crazy part.
Pardon my interruption. It's worse than that because I got homies that have have companies that OnlyFans model companies or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Y'all not even talking to women.
Oh man.
Listen, they're talking to dudes. They do a thing to where like I'm gonna judge your, I'm gonna rate your, you know what? So they'll spend $30 to send a dick pic for a dude to be like, this is little. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all sending y'all pictures to dudes. You're talking to men. You are not, unless the girl is whack and she ain't got no emotion, you're not talking to a girl.
And then we got all this AI. How do you know if it's real? It's only listen, man. I remember, and this is interesting as we keep talking about AI, right? Because there's an era where women start performing for the gaze of other women and the algorithm. So putting on all this makeup. We didn't actually like that in real life. So all of those, the Snapchat filters came on, big eyelashes, kissy faces, and all of that. And when we seen it in real life, it was like, that's not you, that's on the profile picture.
Yeah.
Then it became this whole thing where, you got
They
like
out
the
here
trans
catfish.
women and stuff like that. And, those be the ones overly aggressive, trying to trick men up, and you lust demons is just falling for it. Then you meet these ones in person, and now you mad. You know what I mean? Because you ain't vet. You feel me? Then you got the AI version. You feel me? And the AI is not even real women. It's some nerd who's really good at it and learn how to set it up. Either he's put in an avatar of himself, or he's created a completely realistic AI, right? And now that's getting your money. And so it's like, look, the one of the best places to meet women, is on in real life. You need to feel energy. Don't get me wrong. I understand that social media is a catalog from God,
and it can collapse geography.
And, yeah, you still will get the social, but you need to scope this in real life. Is anything worth that investment over time, right? You have to take it through a level of rigor and vetting, right? It's the same thing in like business. You feel me? You gonna pick a business partner, you're not gonna just find them on social and then be like, let's work. It's like, no, I got to get to know you. You feel me? I need to know who you are under pressure. I need to know your past. You feel me? I need to know, and then because you're thinking about this, like, who is this person in 5 years? Right? Not this person.
What it do, humble?
Who would this person be in 10 years?
People don't
right?
tune in
These
for
are the
education.
things that matter
Only
more
drama.
than anything you can possibly fathom, because there are going to be so many situations, and you asking yourself, and this is where this false idea about love comes in. This love thing of the way we've taken this Western concept of love, of romanticism, is a specific Caucasian and Caucasoid version of love, right? And I mean it. There's this really good book on this written by a white man, and he speaks upon how the only time that, they created this idea of love because they needed to romanticize the idea of a woman. And if you watch those old movies, they would then, only time they would show real peace and less aggression towards their woman, and they could be soft in this moment, it was when they in the bed and they having sex with them.
What was their reason of needing to romanticize women, according to this book?
Because it doesn't come to their nature, right? And so you have to think about it like this, right? If you grow up in a cold climate, and in this cold climate, everything is about survival. You're not picking the one that's the baddest. You understand me?
Biggest, biggest back.
Right. You
the beast body.
Everything is logical.
Yeah.
So when you are dealing with your woman, you're thinking about this in such a logical manner that is cold and is calculated, right? When you think about wealthy elite people, they're not falling in love and then picking a partner. Everything is logical. Right? It has nothing to do with warmth and this idea, oh, we fell in love. This is a concept that's been given to us.
But we do need to deploy logic in making these decisions.
Absolutely. Warm, what we call warm cognition and cold cognition are both necessary. It's both in the spectrum of human consciousness. But we're talking about stuff that comes from a culture like romanticism. The Romans used to have little boys as a norm, right?
For sure.
That they would really get their sexual deviancy off of. Then they would go back to their women, but they never really loved their women.
Let's give a little history lesson, Black history, right? But this is a global history. So I'm very fond of movies. One of my favorite movies is 300. However,
Oh man.
however, I just know history. So it bums me out when they be trying to play in our faces. So for those
That
of
was
you
one
who
of my
don't,
favorite movies too.
300,
300.
it
That shit was
depicted
hard.
this band of warriors, this band of 300 who were just elite, right? And everything was cool until this one part, couple parts. They were when the Greeks were like around rallying up all of their guys. The other parts of Greece, Athens, Arcadia, whatever. He like, what's up? What y'all trying to do? And they're like, well, my people, we do this, we do that. We ain't really for the war like y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like the Spartans. So Greece or Rome? Was it Rome? No, it was Greece. Greece. So when he gets to the Arcadians, he says, they're just a bunch of boy lovers, right? He called them gay, right? Which is ironic because the 300 that they're representing was actually a band of gay soldiers.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm bad, but it was 150 couples. Y'all look this up. It's called the 300 of Thebes, Thebes. This is a real thing. It was 150 couples, so dudes who loved each other fighting. That's why they were so fierce in battle and they didn't lose a lot because imagine if your wife can fight too, like to the level of a man. It was that. So I hated how they just played in people's faces like that. So yeah, there is with that whole culture in that Mediterranean area, that European area, yeah, the
They was all fruity.
sexual
Fruity
alternatives
warriors.
are in an abundance right there.
Yeah.
It's even in their hieroglyphs, in Greek and Roman hieroglyphs. It's on their wall, in their depictions of men, the older men like this, with the younger dudes like this, because how their society was ran was like they had a wife at home for reproduction only, logical. And then their business partner was like their butt buddy, right? But each businessman had what is it called? An apprentice, a young man who they forced their ways on and taught them the ways of the world and deprived them of any kind of innocence, and you see that
this allowed them to be able to implant their ideas because the younger generation was always rebellious. So it was also a way of control, right? So if the young one is, and this is where you can kind of see this play out in society, where there's always this fear of the next generation, right?
Right.
They call it the Cronus complex, and the Cronus is this picture of him devouring his child, right? Eating the child. And it's a battle between time and ages, but the older man and they would control it by breaking the young man, right? And then once they broke him, then they could implant their ideas into him. Therefore, it started another cycle and created stability, right? So when you think about it like that, practice itself that continued throughout Rome and Greece, they don't talk about that a lot. They talk about the mythologies of Greece, right? And those mythologies are not even real. Those are stories that they piece together from us.
From Africa,
the Odyssey, even though it was a great scriptural work that they had, literary work that they put together, it was stories that came from original people that they then turned it into their myths.
Here's the thing. What people got to realize is this.
A lot of people
Do
don't
not
know
think, and this is we in Black History Month, but this is for the white people too, because y'all get lied to as well, right?
The reason too is because a lot of people just don't read. They just listen to what somebody told them and they take it and run with it. They don't even fact check it.
People have been lied to way deeper than Black people because they believe in the lies that. Imagine this: you've been told that all this history is yours and it's not. You're stealing somebody else's history. How does that feel?
But then
to where it mismatches to where you can barely dance.
It gets to a point to where they need to do their knowledge yourself as well.
But you can barely dance, and you're taking credit for spirituality and developing pyramids, and you don't even have rhythm within yourself.
They know deep down. They know it's not an alignment. But anyway, you take Plato, you take Socrates. They do actually give homage to their teachers. They talk about traveling to Kemet. And man, the Kemites will not just give us the wisdom because their education protocol, you know how we got 4 years here, 20 years up there. So the Greeks, the Romans none of them ever lasted the entire period of time for the Kemetic mystery system educational protocol. But they tell you, it's in their writings who their teachers were. Hippocrates, Imhotep. You feel me? So people gotta really read and do some research. But I'm not leaning on that too much because people don't want to feel wrong. They don't want to be wrong. They want to feel right. And this is one thing I'm gonna give y'all a real hack of life, man. I don't know if y'all gonna do it, but try your best to divorce yourself from biases and from being attached to feeling right. It's better to be right. And sometimes you're wrong. And if you're wrong, you want to find out if you're wrong or not so that you can be right. You can correct it. All right.
That's what I be
Peace,
saying.
positive energy, always correct errors, right? That's what peace, that's one of the acronyms of peace. You want peace of heart and peace of mind. You don't have peace of heart or peace of mind when you're wrong. You're standing on the wrong side of things, but you try to project like you're right. Just like you're talking about with these people who are trying to take credit for things that they know they damn well they are not, the originators or the fathers
There's
of
no
those
facts.
things.
But black men need
All
to be
cap.
able to, black people, say black man because it's Black History Month.
Mhm.
Not that black women are not black people, but y'all get
But just
but
let me say this. Let me throw this in there. When we say man, man, the actual word meaning of man is humans, is all man and woman. Okay, so if you look at how do you spell woman, WOMAN. So that's the wisdom body of the man. So it's all we're talking about everybody. We're not like leaving nobody out. All right.
82:6, and I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
Mhm.
But ye shall die like men, speaking of Adam, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. It's the most one of the most important and most neglected and most revealing, right, verses in the Bible that we forget. Ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High,
Mhm.
right? Like, if you can embody that quality, right? You talked about this earlier, like what gives you that limitlessness is that God is not limited at all, because what you know is only your limits. That's
Yes, sir.
all,
Yes, sir.
right? That, like, when people say, like, when you go in the gym and you hit however many plates in your personal PR, that's just what your current limits are.
Mhm.
That's the way I look at it.
Mhm.
Like, oh man, when I hit 4 plates, that's what my current limits are, right? And so there's infinite potential beyond that, right? How much of it do I want to hack? How much of it do I want to release? Just because you know something, that's just the limits of your thinking, because there's infinite. And then being in the Western world, we're so caught up in this Western perspective, viewing things from this lens, when there's other different. This is just the Western view. What about the Eastern, Northern, Southern?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
why not have 360 degrees of knowledge? Why fail at 32? Why fail at 33? Why allow yourself to see through the eyes of a man who has been limited this whole entire time, and you took his eyes and put them on yours when he has been
Bars.
limited because he could never see the world the way you do?
Well, I say, and we're talking about white people and black people. White people, black people should get in the habit of rejecting all of the things that white people told you. Because I'm not saying you learn these things now. This is epigenetic, right? Hundreds of years, 400 years to be exact, of us being taught wrong information, wicked information, information that we ain't shit, that we animals, right? Information that that's that white God and that's God, right? All false, right? And it's very blasphemous, the things that we've been taught. So I advise black people, I even say, look, change your names, drop the slave name. Don't get mad at me. I'm just stating a fact. I had a slave name at once and I dropped it. It's gone. It was a British name, an English name. Bumba no, right? So that's how far I'll take it. And I think y'all should do the same thing. Divorce yourself from this culture. Divorce yourself from their ways. I'm not saying hate white people. Not at all. That's foolish. I'm saying that the systems in which we have been taught and programmed is bogus. Get off of it. Unattached, unplug, right? And start developing and walking into your own systems, your own cultures.
Mhm.
Because the culture now, and look at the culture now in America, right? The culture is this. It's ungodly, right? It's very atheistic, right? It's demonic. Because those two go hand in hand. To be demonic and satanic And to be atheist is to be have the absence of God. The absence of God, God is a very practical being and is a very practical necessity because without God, there's no morality, there's no ethics, right? You could take a nice guy, I don't give a fuck about nice guy. First of all, nice people. Oh, he's an atheist, but he's so smart, he's so nice. I don't give a fuck about a nice person. Jeffrey Dahmer was nice to lure his victims in. You feel me?
Right.
Evil people don't walk around mean. They walk around with a smile on their face, making you feel comfortable to bring you into their bullshit. So y'all gotta be mindful of that. Don't be fooled.
And listen,
Don't be fooled, man.
we have just
The
reminded me
devil
reading this
like to
book by
smile
Dr. Wesley,
too.
The Book of God, such a good book.
Shout out to Salams to Dr. Wesley.
Yes,
one of our greatest minds.
we're gonna add this to the book club as well. We'll get in on this one. But it reminds us something that we have fallen so far from grace. You know, that we have relegated our true selves into small communities and we actually shun it. Right? Like when it comes to being God's third eye, chakra talk, we now make fun of that. We laugh like monkeys at our higher selves.
Mm.
Think about that because the monkey mind is what keeps our lower self. But if somebody uses words that try to open up your higher self, you laugh and point at them and say Hotep, even though Imhotep was the most powerful black man to ever exist.
I keep a statue of him on my
side. Yes, he right there, back there, man. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So how can you get a people that have fell from grace so deep? Because there's this mental fall, and this book speaks about it, on when we mentally fail from that plane. Because you know that they are spiritual, there are three planes. You know what I mean? The mental, the spiritual, and the physical. Like Trismegistus, we're talking about Hermes, talking about the Kabbalion, so we start breaking it down and things of that nature. And we as a people have fell so far, and where we're stuck in this physical plane, trapped in a mental one, because somebody else is controlling our mental, and we are obsessed with the physical. And now in the time of the digital, because we haven't controlled ourselves in the spiritual, mental, physical, we don't have full control over the digital and this machine, this software. And so there has to be a spiritual awakening, a conscious awakening across the planet Earth for our people. It won't come in the form of business. It won't be a partnership that we change. It won't just be something that happens. It has to be a mental rise. If we do not exalt ourselves beyond this physical plane and this materialism, right? We will always be weighed down by it.
Is that you hit the nail on the head. It's the materialism that we so tethered to.
We become materialist.
And think about this, like,
and it's necessary to master the material plane, but the immaterial is what we lose.
Right.
So get this: even when somebody does something successful in the immaterial plane, you can change somebody's life. You can change thousands and tens of thousands of families. Does that count when one counts success today? Right? And this is why I always say entertainers have become gods, right, to us, because our metric of what we think matters now, right? I'm talking about larger society in Black America. We J. Cole drops a CD. We all talk about it. But what beneficial thing going to come from that CD? No disrespect to the young man. J. Cole don't have that level of knowledge. This is why J. Cole has a limitation, because he don't have that God bodyism. He need to read Fall of America if you want to talk about the fall off. In a time of the greatest fall of America, he don't mention that because he don't have that. This is my only really true critique, and the only thing I look for when I listen to the music, I'm listening for that.
J. Cole is an AI conscious Black rapper.
Damn.
There's no soul for real. So, no disrespect. I'm just stating my observation. That's
AI
what
and I know people couldn't understand that because you thinking of it as a fan. It's like, no, I can enjoy the technicalities and the artistry of the music. He just don't have that God body.
He's a phenomenal rapper.
And every great rapper, come on, Rakim, Jay-Z, Kanye, Kendrick, Nas. You understand me? Nas, all God body. They got that mathematics. They know that knowledge. And they go sprinkle that in there. And when you don't hear that, none of the mathematics, none of this.
Just like when
it's missing.
When people are doing their AI bullshit, it's like, there's no soul there. There's no seasoning. Yeah, what are we missing here? I mean, the fact that Cole bowed out of a battle, out of a scrap, to me, that says a lot right there.
I don't.
That's an absence of a certain type of spirit, a warrior spirit that is coded in anybody who's attached to any kind of god bodyism at all.
See, I don't mind the J. Cole Drake thing. That's whatever because the title is it's an egoist title. It's a who can dominate who, it's aggressiveness. Now, don't get me wrong. If I was him, I wouldn't have.
Mm.
But as a man, you can make that decision.
Of course.
My problem is that
As a man, you could decide to be gay too.
Yeah.
It's your decision.
right. But what I'm saying is that my problem is more so is that who is J. Cole's enemy? Right? When I listen to his music,
You don't have any.
his enemy typically is his idols. Right? First, it was like Jay-Z because he would.
But it's a respect.
No. But that's what I'm saying.
He'll never come for nobody's
No. But that's what I mean. Well, he went for Kanye. You understand me? He just the hell out of
Just now?
Kanye. False idols. No, on his previous
Yeah,
album.
but Kanye is a wounded,
Completely
a
disrespectful.
wounded lion.
No, but
Wounded.
At that time, it
And
was
Kanye,
still.
but Kanye,
it's still
Kanye,
Kanye.
Kanye can't really go like that. Like,
But still.
he just made bops.
But the point is that his enemy is typically another black man. He talks about the industry, the bots, the fakeness that exists. You know, sometimes he might speak on the world plights and things of that nature. And that's where I commend him, you know, as being a man and he doesn't engage in the toxicity. But
What's the toxicity though?
I mean, just regular hip hop, sex, money, death culture. You feel
Maybe
me?
not killing niggas, but all of the other
Well, I'm
things.
talking about his music don't represent that. I ain't.
But it's in
him.
there. It's in there.
I mean, to a braggadocious extent, but not to an
The
influential one.
bitches, the bitches, and this.
Yeah, I mean, he
You know
talks
what I'm saying?
about his lust. You know, he a man. You feel me?
But let's not act like he don't
He
play with that.
not really.
He do.
He play with it in the sense of like the Rock acts like he's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like he's an entertainer.
All right.
And nobody,
That's fair.
nobody go. You feel me?
That's fair.
And listening to Cole and,
But
and being influenced negatively.
I only say that because cats be getting credit for being so conscious and righteous. But I'm like, this is he talking like he acting like a nigga. He talking like a nigga. He just doing it more eloquently. And he'll talk about some other shit. So he's a smarter person, but he's still talking about nigga shit too. They just dress it up real pretty.
No, listen. I again, the stuff that he talks about, let's just say, is mild. Right?
Okay.
It's mild in comparison to
on every side.
Yeah. So there's a level, there's a ceiling
Mm-hmm.
that he hasn't reached because there's a level of knowledge that he don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's and there's power comes with knowledge of self. And when I hear certain rappers, I can tell whether they have knowledge of self or not, and whether it's active. And I'm not saying he doesn't have knowledge of self in the sense that I don't really know him, but I'm saying in the music, he doesn't go into the detail like he's studying, like he going into that 360 degrees of knowledge and he's going into it. I know he was at the Million Man March, so you know he's mentioned Farrakhan's and so on. So obviously, I'm not sure how far down the rabbit hole he's went with that because he's also his music and every other rapper, and this is like I'm using J. Cole as a critique really for larger hip hop. It's so disconnected from any movement, right? And its absence of showing connection to the culture, in the sense that the only person I really heard him mention for sure was like Charleston White in comparison to himself, right?
What did he say about
He said he's a Charleston to White to a rap to the rappers or something like that when he was going at the rappers.
Okay.
Now, my thing about that is like, there's no other black man that you can lend that platform for to give kudos to a movement that got connected. That's just pop culture because he's now popular enough. But it doesn't show me that he's connected to what's actually happening. The fight, the struggle, the movement, the leaders, the creators that's actually out here demonstrating. Now, this is why you have to put out critique because a person listen to this and be like, man, that's valid points. And he may make that correction in the future because he might be so busy in his world that he don't see this. So it's not from a point of hate. It's like, but if nobody ever teaches, and I don't have his number, so I'm gonna put that out there because a leader must help others lead, right? Freddie Gibbs called me one day, and I remember I was talking about how rappers make other rappers their enemy, and that's white supremacy, right? Like, don't do that. And he was like, man, you helped change some music that I was making. Because I was essentially going through a trauma of niggas trying to kill me, and he was realizing that he got trapped in that energy. You feel me? I respect that.
Mhm.
You
Yes,
feel
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
Because not only that it had an influence on him, but he called me and let me know.
I love Freddie Gibbs, bro.
You feel me?
Look, he got the knowledge in him. I always hear his shit like you just hear some Islamic stuff. It just has to come out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it ain't like he just changing his whole shit up and like acting like a preacher or
Freddie
whatever.
Gibbs from
But
Indiana,
it is there,
Gary,
Right.
Indiana.
and it seasons his recipes really well.
Yeah.
And the brother's super dope, super talented.
And there's a lot of rappers I don't talk about because I have no expectations of them.
Yeah,
I only talk about people I respect.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I respect Kendrick Lamar. I respect J. Cole. So when I listen to their music, I'm always want more.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's not a sign of a rapper and an artist can make whatever they want to. But y'all know that if I don't speak on certain things, y'all have a certain level of expectation for me. And the way I look at it is every black man got the same level of expectation as being a leader in the world. Y'all can't put it on certain people, not put it on others. You feel me? It ain't a rapper and a culture that's doing more for the diaspora and me personally putting on my time, money, and energy going across the planet Earth and seeing that thought into the black man raising the consciousness. If I can do it, they can do it. That's my whole thing. Like we here in existence on the same timeline on this planet Earth, we can all fight. You understand me? Like
Right.
how much money is enough? How much fame is enough? Like when we go start having this intentionality and connection. So yeah, there's supposed to be tension between us because obviously there's disconnection. You feel me? So that's where I'm at. I'm at a frustration with the larger culture, and I use these moments because I know people care about these things. Rap is not important right now. It's not important because it's disconnected.
Hell
When
yeah.
rap is connected to a larger movement and they utilize the artistry to help push and reflect that movement, it is important. But when rap is disconnected, we're only judging it by its entertainment, right? Not its impact. So this is where I utilize hip hop to take my messages around where I need to. You feel me? But I just see it as WWE. I just see it as entertainment, right? So yes, you're always gonna be cannon fodder for my reflection, so that I can utilize that because that's who the people's attention are being gripped by. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that one rap song can be worth 1,000 sermons. So you can literally travel around the world. Somebody told me because I said that the mulatto Messiah disappointed me in the album that I was dissing him when he called himself a mulatto Messiah. You feel me? And if you don't respect me for a take that I have on the album, I never had you. You feel me? So you're putting so much stake in somebody's entertainment that has done nothing for your life. That somebody else is out there on the front lines fighting and building. You feel me? And you're willing to throw that away because you need to be a fan of somebody. Like, how can you work and build with a people like that whose consciousness is so low? You understand me? Like we've taken entertainers and put them above every other class of people in Black America.
Yeah,
The leaders, the scientists, the politicians, the everything. They have become right there at the top of the totem pole, and every other community is treating them like they got them at the bottom of the totem
Well,
pole.
that bubble's gonna pop because it's like the only movement that it seems that they're connected to is the movement of trying to make money for themselves.
Yep.
And you know how rappers,
Everything
nobody
is just
do-
about
See,
money
see,
now.
Spider,
nobody gives a fuck
Somebody
about.
say a virtual bully. I'm not sure what that is a reference from, but when I like reading the comments, I know that we don't have the ability to have context, nuance, and understanding. And this is why having conversations with people is tough because you can listen to a man, but you don't understand. Right?
Mhm.
And the problem is that we have this overly informed society that lacks understanding. Understanding. If you ever just sit down and listen to a person and think about they point of view and ask, do I understand? Not do I agree? Right? It's completely different. You get a completely different reality. Do I understand? Not do I agree? I can understand people that I don't agree with, which allows me to respect them. But if you're only thinking from the point of do I agree, you understand me? Then you are limiting your own ability to understand and to create alignment and to move forward and to grow.
People are afraid to think. People are afraid to think, right? First of all, people should speak less, think more. All right, people are building, we talking about things and ideas and look, we're throwing things out there. Somebody's opinion could change as we're having this conversation.
Right. Hold on. Before you just said the bar. bro, a great sign of being a great man is growth.
Mhm.
If I might say something yesterday and already grew from it because I reflected and being
Yes,
like,
sir.
actually, I don't think that that's what I'm at no more because I take time. I don't just grab an opinion and I'm stuck there forever. You might pull up an old tweet and I'm so far from
Mhm.
that old thought of consciousness that I'm in completely disagreement now on a whole nother side because I've grown. It's all about growth.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Allow, and this is where the whole world needs to give grace to human beings because we archive so many thoughts and people try to pigeonhole us to our old thoughts. You can be mad at who I was, but not who I am, right? Deal with me in the present and ask, am I still who I was? And if I'm not defending my past self because I'm already a greater enlightened version. Now deal with me from my understanding.
Yep.
Imagine
That's
doing that
real.
to a tree.
But basically,
Remember, you used to
it's
be
okay to
small.
like take in some information and sit back with it. Sit on it for a minute. You don't have to react or respond. Matter of fact, you should never really react to anything. You should choose to, if you even want to respond and when you're going to do it, right? But let it be an informed decision. Don't ever react ever because it ain't ever going to be a solid position.
Well,
it's an emotional response.
Reaction versus reflection. And I asked myself, as you utilizing this space, I just want us to know that social media, especially if you're good at it, right? Content is meant to get a reaction out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So is it the person that got the reaction out of you? Is it their fault or is it you?
It's you.
Right? So when you can divorce and disconnect from those emotions that you feel and rise above emotions into the thinking of a God, which is always what I was taught, then you realize, like, I go on Twitter. Twitter's not a respectable platform because there's nothing misinformation. People literally have a living of lying and spreading rumors and false information all day. So you should never react to anything, never believe anything, and always be vigilant when things are trying to get into your mind. But it's the same thing everywhere. When I'm on threads, I engage with people sometime in thoughts. I can never give you my full thought, right? Almost anything that I put in short form is not my full thought. It's not enough context and nuance. And if you're in alignment with it, you'll agree with it. But if it's contrary to something that you believe, then you're going to think it's disrespectful. Unless I put together a whole newsletter or a 3-hour dissertation on something, you're not getting my full thought. I probably thought about what you thought about as well. Then I think about my own thinking because that's the way my mind works. But I know as well as you know, that don't matter.
No.
So we utilize the energy and the attention of people.
Conversation started.
Right. We pull you in, then we raise your consciousness. You understand me? You got to hook people in. Once you get them, all right, now let me raise you
in the game, coach.
With an open mind. Like, people got to stop. People really have to stop acting like they know everything. I don't know nothing, okay? I have the ability to research and learn and listen, right? And we can form ideas and thoughts. But y'all, sometimes, like, I look at my comments sometimes, and I have to troll y'all because they come in completely misunderstanding even simple things that we're talking about, or just having fun making jokes, and they hold such rigid positions exposing who they are. It'd be stuff like this for me. Look, I did a little troll tweet this morning, post this morning about if you ain't hitting 4 wheels, start doing your nails, right?
That was funny.
The amount.
I was gonna steal that with the story. I ain't gonna.
The one I saw, who I colonized that from, was 2 plates. I just don't have any videos of me hitting 2 plates. But the amount of winery in my comments, it was like a vineyard. It was like, bro, you're barely hitting the 4. I hit the 4. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not even. This is so not a serious post. But people, like, y'all gotta put y'all feelings down. What I'm saying and what I'm observing, and I'm sure you observed this as well, us being in these positions to see so many people lead with such volatile, fucking fragile feelings.
Yep.
Where did this come from? Why are y'all so easily hurt? I be posting shit that got nothing to do with nobody and people be hurt. It's like, maybe ask me, what is this about? If it's really that serious. Look, I get attacked all the time. You think I'm gonna let that shit hurt me? You know what I'm saying?
Well, to troll is to control. You understand
That's a
me?
fact.
And
Yeah.
you have to remember that when somebody is trolling you, they're controlling you. Especially when you're buying into it and you're reacting into it. They're controlling your nervous system, your emotions, your energy that you're putting into this. And the question becomes is what are they using it for? You understand me? In the term of follow the money, follow the energy. Where's the energy flowing? Follow your energy. Where's your energy flowing? Where's your attention and time being spent? Right? And so it doesn't matter what person says, it matters how you react to it. Your triggers are nobody else's responsibility but yours. So when you are online and either you have the ability to take time and to reflect and think about, I wonder if this person means this or that, you can always say, let me ask,
That's it.
right?
That's all
And
you
when
gotta
you
do.
ask, I bet you get such a great response versus let me react. Let me assume, and now that person reacts to you. Then that becomes them in defense mode, and now y'all are entangled into this thing that never had to become because now you're both reacting. And so that's part of human nature, and this is where us as a people have to rise above, and we all get caught into it, right? Shorthand speaking, and now we're at this point in time to say if we are as a people want to ever rise, it has to be a rise in our consciousness.
The Holy Quran says Allah
Yep.
will only change the condition of a people when the people change the condition of their heart and their minds. So we have to pivot ourselves differently, right? We have to, all right, you know,
The fuck is
Ismi
my
Allah
chat?
ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, right? Allah is the most merciful, the most, not kind of merciful, but the most merciful. But we can't have mercy for each other. Somebody say something stupid, he's a whatever.
They
You know what
ready
I'm
to
saying?
fight your ass.
It's like the judgmental energy. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all what's pathetic. That bums me out when I'm going through because each creator, content creator, is like a president of their little world or like a master of their little world, right? And I'm saying little, like our feed, right? So we'll say something or whatever, react, and then we're just observing y'all behavior every day, right? And it's just like it'd be a lot of dopeness, but it'd be a lot of like judgy, angry,
Yep.
hurt, emotionally triggered. I'd be shocked that somebody would even type some of this shit and hit send
Hell yeah.
and not like,
Paragraph.
let me delete that. Like, no, you left it there, and I'll leave it there. I'm like, this should be a teaching message. Y'all see this? This is bizarre. And then there's people that come super wildly disrespectful. This is what I do. I'm telling you right now. You're gonna keep doing it. I put them on what is it called? Restrict. Restricted. For y'all that don't know what it is, it lets the person still comment and interact, but nobody sees it but them.
Oh, I love doing that.
There are people that comment on every for a year.
I do that same
They're
thing.
so invested in hate. Every post that I do, they're there.
Man,
fascinating. You don't get a like on it. Like, it's fascinating. It's like, my brother, you ain't got nothing to do with your time. Nothing better to do.
And let them just be in their own word. They're yelling and they don't know that their mouth is on mute. And they think everybody can hear them. But sometimes people want to matter. They want to know that they're affecting you. Right?
Like that.
But that's what hate is. You know, sometimes what is the number one thing people crave? Attention. This world craves attention as the commodity of the century. You know what I mean? And so people are at this point where they'll do anything just to get your attention.
Perfect example, somebody running on a sports field, on the field of a soccer game, football game. You gonna get tackled the fuck up and snatched up out of there, but they feel, I got a little, look, you get no money from that, you get no emotion from that, right? That's a weird addiction. That, you know what that is? It's a elevated animalistic response, right? And I say elevated from the animal kingdom, because that's not a thing that they would think to do, to intentionally do some bird ass shit like that, right? So, but us, we are supposed to be above animals in cognition, but some people is in this weird space of barely above animalistic shit.
Well, some people don't want to be above animals.
That's true. So you'll do something like, all right, I'm gonna be seen or heard by shitting on this dude, right? What comes out of that? Nothing. First of all, if I was to give you attention and match your energy, I'm gonna roast you like crazy. I've done that before. And you're supposed to be professional. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
People are trying to write rules for how you supposed to respond.
Look, I am not a serious person.
I don't try to be. Look, that's why sometimes y'all might comment, y'all might catch me on you know, and there might be a day, and matter of fact, I know there will be a day where I rise above and I ascend. You feel me? And I'm up there in the ethers.
Yeah.
But I'm still here with y'all in the mud right now, trying to get
Hey,
out of it.
if I got time, I got time.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And
Yeah.
we all laughing. So you don't want that attention. And I've told people I've given it to cats, and bruise their ego, and then I'd be like, hey, bro, I'm just giving you a taste of what you're doing to me. And I said, brother, do you know that I get this every day from multiple people?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, this is not becoming of like, I don't think your friends, or if you got a girlfriend, she'll be all right with you acting like this. It's very, very strange behavior. So, and they take it well. I flip people all the time, but most of them I just leave them in there talking to themselves in the ether in a vacuum. But at the end of the day, is this: what do you like? Whatever you do, whatever you take your time to spend your time doing, let it be something of value, of benefit. Look, to get a response from somebody, first of all, you're probably messaging him or messaging me, and we don't answer because we haven't seen it, right? I've seen, like, there's time that I'll take time and go through. I'll be seeing what's up, trying to reach out, and then be like, fuck you, bitch ass nigga, all this shit, and then it'd be back to love, and you know what I'm saying? And there's one cat in particular that I knew from the past. He did that. I screenshot that shit up, and then I respond like, hey, what's up? He deletes it because I already got it. Hey, what's up, bro? I'm like, whoa. What's up with this? The screenshots. Oh no, man. What? I'm like, bro, nah, that shit ain't solid, bro. Like, what the fuck? Would you say that to my face?
Mm-hmm.
Of course you wouldn't, right? Just be solid. If somebody don't respond to you or the way you want, it's okay. We don't know each other. Just like traffic. For you to get mad at somebody in traffic, you're a real asshole. You're a weirdo. They don't know you. If I cut you off, that's my bad, right? My bad. But I'm not trying to give you a bad day, right? The same with this. People got to stop being so fucking butthurt about everything.
Yeah.
Everything? Come on.
No, I agree. I think we can, and this is, I think, my next level of ascension. Because sometimes I think I speak on things I don't have to, I might say things, and from my position, I can see where it's like, Keys could have let that one go.
Mm-hmm.
Even my commentary about this whole J. Cole thing, I don't think is 100% needed. It is somebody at the end of the day that I think deserves a level of respect, because I think he is a good influence too for young people to look at and be like, man, you could become famous and you could become a rapper, you feel me, and be in the entertainment business without being somebody who sold their soul.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I don't look at Cole at all as somebody who sold his soul.
That's true.
You feel me? And as long as I can respect you as that level of a man, my critique as commentary, social commentary, critique as a fan, none of those things supersede that respect I have for you as a man. So just want to put that.
I need to add on to that. I was upset as a fan that he didn't engage in that battle. I'll tell you why.
Why?
I love that kind of smoke. I'm a hip hop. I love. Look, all right. She said something very true earlier. How rapping is important right now. True, to an extent. It's very important to me because I love rap music.
I mean, my album is important.
I love
I'm talking about the industry.
I'm talking about other shit too. Like but not like, it ain't gotta be nothing new. I'm just saying rap in general for me is probably one of the most endeared arts that I hold to heart. So I just really I know his level of cognition and wordplay. I never seen him hot like that. I wanted to see him go.
So just that power that exists in rap is so disconnected.
That is very true. All right, so this is a good point, a good segue. So you're right, 100%. I personally, I don't know if you do this, but I have that desire for that power that rap does have to get back active, some Public Enemy momentum. But I do have as a fan, someone who likes to listen to this without it being important, I have that too. So,
no, I get it.
So
when I'm, sometimes when we're in war mode, you want your comrades.
Oh, yeah.
You want to feel you're like, y'all niggas cool, but y'all ain't on the field with me.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's what it be. You feel me? So it's like, when I know that you on the field, even if it's not on the same field of mine, you fighting the war from a different angle, You feel me? I can respect that. But when I feel like you're not on the field and you could be one of our greatest soldiers, then that's where you lose me. You feel me? And if we are at a time where it is about having this fall of America in their world and building our own. You understand me? It is of having alignment with the same enemies and things of that nature. And so the things that you empowered in the last hour matter. You feel me? Like we in the last hour of things, and it's like, damn, if we don't have alignment now, we'd never have it.
Yes,
You
sir.
feel me? When a person needed it the most, and they have to figure out how to do it from a position of saying that, well, we never end up working together, we never end up helping each other. There was no intentionality, and then I figured out another way to do it. I don't ever want to be cool with you after that, ever. Because now you're just looking at me as a person who is successful, and now you want to be a part of this class, but that shit weak. You feel me? And
Yeah.
so, as somebody who had been throughout the industry, who met everybody, and there's a lack of intentionality where you get a few people who do support and or help, those are the people I'm locked in with. The rest don't really matter to me. You don't even exist because the way that you fight is weak as fuck.
That's real. And ain't nothing like, see, I we all exist on many different planes of existence, our life experiences. And some of mine, a lot of mine is still that warrior battlefield mentality, right? Why? Because I've existed in it for so long. I like it there, right? And I look at a lot of things in life as war. So one thing that's ideal for any warrior is to have competent and capable battle buddies. So when I look at this cat, that cat, I want to see. I'm drawn to dangerous people. When I say dangerous, I'm not saying violent. Well, maybe people who have the capacity for violence, but intellectual violence. Yep, physical violence. Like if I thought Keys was soft in any vector, me and him wouldn't be hanging out. And I'm sure you feel the same. I don't hang out with people because they're popular at all. At all. Because if that was the case, it would be all famous people with me, right? I don't do that. I know plenty of famous people, but I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Because my mentality is like this. This is just what I like, who I choose to be, and who I choose to be around. If it's got to go down, it's going the fuck down. I don't give a fuck about no consequences. We crashing out. We are coming out. We're going to, like the 300, we're going to try our best to murder a million of y'all.
Not exactly like the
Not. The you know what I'm saying? The fictitious, but now we go down trying, like that's, to me, that's glorious. It's a glorious death. This is all figurative, but if it gotta be literal, it's gotta be literal. I live and I stand by who I am and what I am. So that's just the archetype of who I am, right? So anyway, just like man, we've been out of town, different places, and it's a little conflict that he might be having. I'm like, cool. We perimetering everything else. And look, it's like, so he can go and engage and have the conversation without worrying about nothing, because ain't nothing gonna happen. Nada, zero, zilch. Look, I ain't getting into no specifics, but one time, one person, it was some other people with the cat. I'm like, yo, son, get on them right now. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't ever, that's the mentality that you want. Well, not everybody, but I want when I'm moving around, because I've experienced a lot of real shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, look, shout out to my boy Rasan in Atlanta. I ain't never got beat up ever in my life. One time, we out and about, and the cat come up from behind me and socked me, right? It did nothing. It was hard, but I take punches for a living, so that was nada. I turn around, and this cat like squared up. Before I can even think to do something, bah! He sleep. Rasan just came out of nowhere. I'm like, yeah, what? You know what I'm saying? So that's the energy. You don't ever want to have soft ass homies, people that you're in counsel with that ain't with that business.
And see, Michael, real one, man. I know who in my corner and who not, right? Because when you actually do things and you outside, and the people who show up, those are the people you can really count.
Yes, sir.
Those are the people that do count. Everything else, man, your world becomes smaller when you actually go push full movement.
Yes, sir.
You go get all this noise online, everybody saying they'll do something. Then you have all the people that critique, saying you're not doing this or that. But when I do anything, where are you? Right? How can nothing happens in a vacuum? It grows, it develops, right? Over time, right? It grows momentum, right? And so any movement that most people say they want me to do is it has to be a people-based movement. Are you thinking I'm about to get institutional support to create an institution? You understand me? That goes against the ones that you want me to replace. If that's not the case, then you feel me? That means that you need to be giving that support. And then when you see it not at the level yet, then that means that you need to be fighting as hard as I'm fighting to make this thing grow. Right. And I think that, it's easy to be in the stance than it is to be in the game.
And let's talk about that. Money, currency, where's your energy flowing? For those of you who do have means, right? Y'all hear what this man is saying, right? A real movement needs currency. It needs finances, right? You can't go to war without. So what do you spend your money on, right? What do you spend that excess money on, right? So it's like when we're accruing money, look, everybody should be on their paper chase. But what are you doing?
Yeah,
with
but
what's
what
are you doing with it? Just buying shit for yourself? Like that's corny, that's weak, and that's very short-sighted, And that also goes to reinforce this secular world. Let's back it up a little bit. So we were talking about that devil Jeffrey Epstein the other day, right? And I was breaking down the like how I do the lectures, I do a word alchemy in the beginning. So I break down the etymology and the meaning of each word, the title. The title was fuck Jeffrey Epstein. So when we got to Jeffrey, I had to break down what that meant, what the true meaning of that word is. So Jeffrey is I think it's from Old England, English, and is Godfrey. And the meaning is the Lord's peace, right? And I'm like, so my people are like, well, how is this? I thought, no, this is very accurate. He is one of the Lord's main guys. They like, what? I said, the Lord of this world. You feel me? He's a main figurehead of this world, of this ungodly world, this demonic ass world. Trump, Elon Musk, all of these evil people. These are not, ain't nobody looking at these men and saying like, I want my daughter. None of y'all want y'all daughters around none of these motherfuckers. Or your sons, for that matter, right? Or your dogs. So these are evil people. These are evil, like, it's obvious. It's not even submersive. It's not even like, there's people like Gerald Ford that was evil that you can't really tell. These people, you can tell. They tell you who they are. Their lavish, lucidious, Luciferian lifestyles is right on your display, right? So now a lot of us in here who's not connected to them skin-wise, you get it. But people who are connected to them, who are of the same race, is like a Trump or Musk, are in denial. Some are not, but a lot are. And it goes against, this is why the Quran says, it's Tawheed. We connect to Allah, not our kin, not our tribesmen. You connect to what's right and what's godly, not people. Because people, I don't give a fuck if it's my twin brother. If he's wrong, he's wrong, he's wrong. Right? So you have on that side, Republican, white, conservative, whatever the fuck you want to call it. They don't want to, this is their guy. This is my guy though. I'm so invested in Trump, in MAGA. So they can't get off of that shit, even though the shit is, your guy is in the Epstein files doing foul shit. He's a fucking foul, fat, floppy, big breast having. I can't have a leader who's a man with boobs. Sorry. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening, bro. Yeah. It's not happening. You have no discipline over the fucking food you put in.
Yeah, you know one of my favorite videos of Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when he pushing the weight.
Bro, what?
You know what I mean? Then he on the podium throwing hands.
What we talking about? That's a leader.
Yeah.
That's a leader. Slim and trim at all times. You ain't ever seen a fat minister of our organization. It still won't happen. So that's what I'm talking about. That's the time. That's what y'all should be on to. Look, we don't know what people are doing in their lives behind closed doors.
Hell no.
But their physical essence is a direct representation and a good indication of how they live in their lives.
Yep.
Are you living like you remember? Have you seen what was the movie? They did two of them. It's fire. It's another white savior when they go to another world, and there's kind of like Africa, Arabia. What the fuck is that movie?
You talking Avatar?
No. Shit. It was a book. We talked about this book before.
Oh, Doom.
So you see the villain in Doom, perfect villain. A perfect antagonist. He was fat, rich,
Oh yeah,
opulent.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's Trump. That's the representation of evil. A glutton. A glutton of what? A glutton of pleasure, a glutton of food, a glutton of power, a glutton of money. What in the fuck you need $1 billion for, my boy?
Mm.
What are you doing with that money? We see Bill Gates was one of the richest dudes. You see what he was doing with his shit. You know what I'm saying? His wife still putting him on blast right now. So look, be
Bill
mindful.
Gates was wild.
Be mindful.
Hold on. Then you got what's the Deepak Chopra?
Goofy.
And
Fuck
see,
these
look,
dudes, man. Yo, fuck all of these. Fuck all these devils.
I will say this, man. Oprah put on 2 pedophiles.
Oprah's a pedophile. She's a demon. She's a part of that. She is. You ever see the movie Hereditary? It's your fire. It's like a horror, but it's like this lady. She was in the satanic bullshit. But Oprah,
So you don't rock with Oprah?
Nah, hell, fuck no.
Okay.
Didn't Oprah do the documentary on Michael Jackson? You know that bullshit, trying to make him.
Did she do on my? I think that was Get. Or did she?
It was her network.
Yeah.
Nah, she's not with the shits for real.
Yeah.
She's compromised.
Yeah.
Look, it's funny. She's compromised. She became a billionaire, but it never moved. She never got more money. How do you not accelerate or elevate? She stayed at this little low level billionaire status.
Well, maybe
That's
that's
cool
because
with
she
that.
wasn't willing to compromise.
Nah, bro.
I'm just playing God's advocate. Like maybe Oprah is the one who been holding them back.
If she,
That's why she ain't got another billion.
yeah, but why haven't she, what has she done for us, for the culture, for her people?
She got a great book club. She
Who's
she
the
helped put
the dominant people in her community?
I would imagine. I think what she did, she infiltrated the white community. You understand me? To help push black authors, such as like to Nahisi Coates. I think she helped with his book.
Let me do a little research.
I'm gonna we gonna start doing this. Matter of fact, I'm playing God's advocate on people.
I love it because look, I need to be challenged. I really don't know. I don't investigate her. I'm not tapped into her network. You know.
Let me see. Ta-Nehisi Coates, I want to have a sit down with him. He's a great.
I think I know who that is. Tanisio.
What was his book? What books?
1 second. It's this one book that became. He just wrote a book about Palestine and Zionism actually, and that was like his most bravest one.
Question for you.
Yeah, one called "Between the World and the Water Dance." The Water Dance, I didn't finish it, but I read some of it.
Mm. So we were having a discussion the other day at the gym about some people feeling like racism is not a thing. Black people. What's your take on that?
You said that. Hold on. Say that one more time.
He said, "Well,
you talking about
the brother who said, you know,
yeah.
He's never experienced. You don't think it's holding nobody back."
I think there's some truth to that on an individual scale, right? Because I think what the brother was saying, and y'all need context. His brother does not have a black woman, so that matters. But because it speaks to the psyche of a person. But a person was saying that they don't believe that racism exists, and here's my problem a lot of times is that I hold way too much nuance, so I see things from all scales because it's easy for me to go in my one bag, right? But I gotta play God's advocate with it. I believe that our biggest problem right now is more of a class system, right? We're talking about poor, middle, higher class. But what you cannot do, and what I think that his point of view came from a point of ignorance, not a point of actual knowledge of the system, because he was referencing his own life. Anytime a man is referencing his life to speak about a larger institution and or system, right, to say whether it matters or not, right, that's exceptionalism, right? That's this black excellence boule-ism, saying that because I am succeeding, then that means that the things that you are speaking about are invalid, right? Systematic white supremacy and racism in this country is not something that's debatable, right? We should never even have debates on this. Only time you do that is so you can teach others how ignorant they are, but it's not a debatable thing. It's America's fabric. It's America's DNA, right? Our lack of access to housing loans. Like I come from a family where my great grandfather helped publish a case to fund the case with Thurgood Marshall and my great aunt, who was the third black woman in the state of Missouri to become an attorney. And she was also the first black woman on the NAACP, got kicked out because she started auditing their books. But anyway, he funded the case because he was a real estate agent and a real estate, and he owned many houses and things of that nature. And the case was to get racist covenants, right, stopped in St. Louis at the time, which they took it all the way to the Supreme Court. And racist covenants was basically where you couldn't buy houses in white neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Now, this was unconstitutional. So Thurgood Marshall and them took it to the Supreme Court and they won. And this literally allowed black people to buy houses wherever they want to. Right. And so when you're looking at things like that, you're talking about a racist history, you're talking about black codes, you're talking about Jim Crow, you're talking about, redlining, you're talking about, and like redlining is probably one of the most under talked about things, and it's such a disturbing history because black people in America had our own renaissance. Like, we've not a people that came out of slavery and was begging for a hand up. It's 100% the opposite. We built, like, I did my tour last year. Most of the cities that have the Renaissance in it, we went to Virginia. You understand me? We went to have a conversation with the black president of the Farmers Association, who recently was denied entry into the Farmers Convention that they was having at the White House because he's a black man.
And you're a billionaire too, right?
Yeah. No, he's not a billionaire. Okay. But the White House and the president would not let him in. Why? Because he's black. Everybody else was in. That's racism to this day. And what he fought was getting us actually reparations and when I say us, I'm talking about black farmers, because they were being denied because of their skin color. You understand me? It's like there's real history, real examples in the land that was stolen from black people in this country. It was stolen systemically. They were killed for it. They were denied access to it. They were not getting the value of their land. They were not getting they were getting loan denial, right? When whites were getting the same ones, they were getting spit on, right? These are things that have been happening, continue to happen in this country. So when niggas deny it, it showcases their ignorance, right? And there's a lack of courage when a man doesn't want to learn, right? You don't want to know. You're afraid of the truth, right? And what I had said to this particular brother is your success lacks power, right? I don't care about your success. Talk to me about your power, right? When your success lacks power, you have no ability to control anything outside of your attitude. You understand me? Like, you don't control systems, laws. You are not actually employing anybody. You're not raising the consciousness of people on this planet Earth. You understand me? And so black excellence replaced black power, and it's an anti-futurist thing because black excellence will have us celebrating entertainers, people that get awards, people that get deals, people that get great contracts, people that make millions of dollars without not thinking about it. One instance, how does this affect the community? How does this affect the collective? I don't give a damn about your individualism.
Your family, your moms, your father, your cousins, right? So
when you think you're too goddamn smart, the white man want to go to goddamn Mars and build $1 trillion companies, and you talking about little pennies. Come on, man, ain't no power in that.
Brother, so how I viewed it, I was like, I thought it was very blind. He has blind spots that maybe he just don't realize he has. He has a degree of he has access to privilege by proximity that he's not acknowledging in his success because his affiliation with whom he's affiliated with. And like you said, the power aspect is big, and somebody doing well for themselves is cool,
right?
But that's very short-sighted, and I just don't think the brother's very aware of the broader society.
I mean, because I'm doing well in that case, but I'm fighting for us.
Listen. Until you out here in the world for real, interfacing with people, touching people, I know, just like people are not doing well at all.
No, they're not.
Our race is not doing well at all.
White people ain't even doing well.
They not either. So it's like a couple people that's in us doing well. Like, how well is that? You know what I'm saying?
This is the problem, man. I like when people do that because when you tell me that you're not gonna support nobody just because they're black and things of that nature, then that absolves me of supporting you at all. Because I'm be honest, I was only supporting you because you was black. You understand me? And so you got to be careful because you can lose a whole base who said that, damn, I can learn what you're teaching from anybody. I can go get this product, but I chose you because you're black.
What should have been said,
And I get
I'm looking at my
sentiment, but
people.
yeah.
Of course, I'm with my people. But if you full of shit, I ain't fucking with you just because you my people. I'm not fucking with my people that's full of shit.
None.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't my people, actually. We may look alike, but you're not my people.
Right, but I'm gonna tell you 100%. If a black man got a good product and a white man got a good product, who you think
The
I'm
black
choosing?
man product, 100%.
Who you think I'm choosing?
So-
Every single time.
And I got
And
white.
why am I choosing him? Because he's black.
That when they asked me, did you go for Obama? Yes.
And a white man
They
would
said
do the
why?
same
They
thing.
said why? I said because.
And I would respect him because that's his family.
Yeah. So
Doesn't mean we can't have extended family. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that heaven, right, is money, good homes, and friendships of all walks of life.
Mhm.
Right? He always told us to learn from a white man. We are a planetary people, right? We are a people that are everywhere across the planet Earth, seated everywhere. This thing that we call black, this is a something that we invented based on our endurance, our collective endurance. Well, I mean, as far as the word black itself, specifically in Afro-American history, right? And it's a historical identity. So yes, you might be in Africa and you might have never been called black before because you called African and everybody looks like you. So even when somebody says that, whiteness is anti-blackness, I just want to put that out there. And y'all might not understand this. Whiteness is anti-blackness. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about genetic, even Caucasians. I'm talking about the word white was invented to be anti-black. That is the whole point of the invention in the first place, right? They wanted to break up.
This is not an attack on you.
But when you say, you have to understand the historical record that comes along with your identity, because there are people that come in this country and they mark white. You understand? Even Middle Eastern sometimes come in this country. They're not marking African, they marking white. There's Hispanics that mark white. Asians that mark white.
So let's educate people on census. Census is unique to America, right? It's not everywhere. So the census, what it is every 10 years, you can take a look at that. Voila. That's the people that she's helping the book club. You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about Oprah?
Yes, sir. Harpo. So
okay, so she got a 20. So Oprah is helping 27% black people, disproportionately, and 40% of them are male, right? And I appreciate that. That's what's up.
Wait. Are you reading it right?
That would no.
Out of the 100, there's 100 people. So it's 27 of them were black, 66 white, 3 Latino, and so on and so forth. So it's really only black and white people that she's helped. But you see the heavy predominant
Asian and Latino. Well,
white.
What's white in it? Who's white?
You know what I'm talking about.
What's white?
Of European descent in America. That's what a white.
But white is not only European descent, though.
But no. This is what white used to be.
Because if you mix, are you white?
But look, the first white. Let's talk about history, because you was breaking down the white. The first white.
That's what y'all on over anyway.
Well, white meant was a person in America from Britannia of British descent. So not a German, not a Italian, not a Irish, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they realized, damn, it ain't that many of us. We need to start changing it, right? Irish, look, us and the Irish was on plantations together working. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us. This is interesting. So black people, they think that they say Ebonics, that's acting black. It's not. It's acting white. So the people that managed the plantations in the South were from Ireland and Western England. They were very rugged. Think about Conor McGregor. Like, he kind of raw, right? Seemed like he hang out with black people, right? Which he does. So this is who was the dominant culture of us on plantations. That's who we interface with at all times.
Yeah. So
we began talking like them. We began the over-sexualization, the violence, all of that come from them. There's studies about this. This is historical. So that's very interesting. There's no black Ebonic. That's not a black thing. It's a white thing. And if you listen to how they talk, it is like, it sounds like a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Very interesting.
But that goes back to that fact. Like, whiteness is anti-blackness.
And it was created in the 1800s.
But the difference is blackness was not created to be anti-whiteness. That's the difference. You know, we built a lot of things so that we can endure. They built a lot of things so that they can rule,
And conquer, yeah.
right? And so the history is completely different. And so when I think about it now, when a person says I'm white, or even if a mixed person says that I'm half white, right? It's an acknowledgement, but white is not an actual physical thing. You can say you have European, right? And you have European genetics and DNA because of your mother. But when you say that I'm a half black man, there's no such thing. Because either you're saying that I completely connect to this side of myself, right? And this is the cognition, this is the consciousness, this is the history I have pride in that sense. Or when you're saying that I'm white, they're a contradiction. To be white and black is a contradiction because white was meant to be anti-black in the first place.
You're right.
Right? And so if we're saying that, yay, y'all got this farmers association with black people, with slaves, with whites and Irish, and they're coming together and they want to start revolting and it's messing up the money. Well, how about we tell them, man, if they start revolting and start working with them, they can come over here as long as they classify as whites, right? And they decide to never go ever unite with black people ever again, and y'all get privilege and y'all get paid more. And they say, hey, I was with y'all until they gave us our rights. I was with y'all until they gave us a new privilege in this country. You understand me? And then white was invented for that. When you study the Hamitic prophecies and things of that nature, you kind of got to go deep into your history, right? Or his story, so that you can actually understand. But there's no such thing as a white man in truth. It is a tribe. It is a collective group of people that have been assigned an identification so that they can continuously rule, and they need the numbers so that they can stay the so-called majority, right, in a country that is driven by a democratic process, that is driven by a survey system, that when you have the larger numbers that affect laws and things of that nature, right? And so all of this machination of this world, this black and white stuff was made to keep black people down, to keep Afro-American, Native American, indigenous people on this planet Earth down. It was never made from this point, or we just want to celebrate ourselves spiritually. It was never made from this point, or we just want to be good people, and I want to recognize that we have shared ancestry. It was always a political assignment, a strategic assignment to go against us as a people.
And it was the marketing.
So I'll never accept it.
The marketing was also with anything else associated with black. It was brilliant and evil, was brilliant. All of this is bad. You know what I'm saying? Black this, blacklist, blackmail. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna blackmail you. It's like
right.
Like,
and that's the metaphysics that they practice to spell us.
It's brilliant but evil. But divorce yourself from these things, right? White people too. Because look, this is what you don't want. Some of y'all don't even realize it, but you treating people like shit, like second-class citizens who their ancestors brought your ancestors into civilization. That's just a fact, right? So when you do research on dark ages, you can see who had dark ages and who didn't, and who brought those who were in the dark ages out of the dark ages, right? It is interesting, man. Like you have like these so-called intellectuals. They're intellectuals and they're clever. They're sophisticated, but that's not righteous. That's not legit. And they get so smart. First of all, they're too smart to believe in God. And second of all, they're so smart, allegedly, that they try to use rhetoric and white institutional standardizations as a blanket over the whole world, right? When they're the only ones that participate in their standardized tests, only them, and they try to talk about the numbers. The lowest, white black people down here. It's like, my nigga, like, we don't take them stupid ass goofy ass tests.
But them tests are
guess what? Let's go survive together. Who gonna need who, right? So it's like, and those tests are bullshit, but there's 9 levels of intelligence that an IQ test does not even come close to. It's not even in the top 3 of the most important, right? So, there's gotta be a new education, a re-education and a new education of all people in America, in the world, really, because everybody's been duped.
Well,
everybody been bamboozled. Everybody been hoodwinked, right? And you need to uninstall this old Windows 96, and we need that new shit, that new godly.
I ain't gonna lie, I got
26.
I got it. I've been building it because again, that whole IQ test and things of that nature. If you look at the most successful entrepreneurs and things of that
You
nature,
don't give a
man,
fuck
it
about
got
no
nothing to do with
IQ.
no goddamn IQ,
None of that.
right? And they never wanted to utilize those other measurements of intelligence
Because they lack.
why do we win in sports? Because because the rules are fair, right? When the rules are equal, we will always thrive,
Mhm.
right? And this is where I would say I learned a lot from that in the sense that we take some of his scholars and philosophers and things of that nature, and a lot of it is rehanded down to us from our own ancestors.
But I
and
would never
repackaged.
say that there's not great white minds. There
Right,
are.
right, right, right. But it's specific,
Mhm.
right? I don't learn spirituality from white people,
Mhm.
right? I don't learn creativity from them. That's not what I'm learning from them. What they have the ability to do, right, is they have the
Technical
as
systems.
logicians
Yeah.
and people who focus on very future forward thinking
Mhm.
because they come from a very cold cognitive climate of thinking,
Mhm.
right? These are people who think in a particular aggressive and dominant manner.
And they had to.
Right. And so this is a lot that you can learn from the cold cognitive standpoint because we are a warm cognitive people
Mhm.
where they may think dominance, we may think harmony. Right. And when you can actually have the best of both worlds, then you're learning from, right? And then you're actually learning how to master that which exists within you that you have not learned to control yet. And there is a representation of that. Because, again, I do rock with good people.
For sure.
That matters. I
Yeah.
want to say that even for the record, like I rock with good people because there's a lot of us who are not good people. And then when we say black, black is not like some end all be all because your skin color has nothing to do with the color of your mind, the frequency of your thoughts, right? And so you can meet good people of all walks of life when they're aligned with the same values and spiritual consciousness.
Yes, sir.
And this matters a lot.
Yes, sir.
But when I'm saying that we as a people, throughout the history of America, over this last 500 years, have gotten a masterclass and a mindset that we was unfamiliar with. And we have spent so much time around this mindset, it has made us somewhat filthy. I mean, we're literally in a country that didn't learn to start bathing until like the 1930s. You understand me? And probably didn't become a full adopted process till around the 60s and 70s, right? And we know that cleanliness is godliness and that purification had been lacking. You understand me? And so we are so, Minister Nori was saying this yesterday. He was having a conversation with Big Bank, and Big Bank was asking him, what do you think one of the biggest problems in Black America is? And he was beyond unity, which he was saying that unity would solve 95% of the problems and 5% of the problems be easier to solve. But the problem is we spent so much time in the mud, right? We spend so much time around our open enemy that we've become so much like him, right? In the way that we think, the way that we see the world, the way that we value ourselves. We have assimilated so much and we've lost our language, our mind, our sense of time, our sense of self. We don't know what's divine, right? The man has fallen, right? We're not well-made men and well-made women. And if we can't be honest with ourselves and that third eye is closed, we barely got one eye open anymore. This is where a separation has to happen on a spiritual level from these things that are attached to us. We have to stop trying to be these things. Fuck your numbers. Who cares about your money? Who cares about those things? We will always be masters of those things because we now have awareness of them, right? So we have that ability, but let's focus on meaningfulness. Let's get back to our righteousness. And when you're around good people and you got good people, they remind you of that righteousness. They correct you on your path, right? Where you may want to talk about your money and your cars and all these external manifestations because your internal self is lacking so much, you corrupt and bankrupt, right? And so you want to continue to say, look what I got, look what I got, because you don't want nobody to see inside, right? It's like having the most beautiful car on the outside, right? But on the inside, it smells like shit. And it's like, man, just admire from the outside. Look at my car. Look at the paint job that I just did. But does it run well? Is it have proper maintenance? Is it clean on the inside? Does it take you where you really need to go? Is it even the right vehicle that you need for the life that you want to live that will fulfill you from your destiny here on earth to do the thing that God has called you to do? Those the things that matter to you? And as a people, we need to have a collective calling upon what do we want our future to be. Here's the so-called Black History Month.
What happened? I love me a high level conversation, man. It definitely was a W stream. You know what I mean? If I could say anything, um, for the people who came and listened, hopefully you got something out of that. You know, got you away, pulled you away from a lot of the drama and bullshit out there on the internet, and got you somewhere where you can level up your mentality for the day, get you right, get you in a different thinking space. You know, learn some tips, learn some things, some new tools to be out there, to be able to go out there in the world and be able to apply. You know what I mean? So I'm guessing the stream is over because that motherfucker just went red. But I don't know. I take a lot of game in. I love listening before speaking. You know, just to sit back and absorb, be that dry sponge. And get that game. Cause skills pay the bills. I tell people that all the time. If you can't pay the bills, it's because you don't have enough skills. And if you want to pay all the bills, you need to go gain some new skills. Gotta go learn something.
Let's run it.
Oh, we back.
Peace
It ain't over.
to the family. We back. We had a brief disruption because we was way too much. We got a little hot in the kitchen. You know what I'm talking about? I want to end this with this.
You glitching.
Here it is. I'm going to go ahead and put this up there so y'all can see. First of all, I want to thank everybody that has supported, that bought my album. That I was just looking at the numbers, and we did the equivalent of 3 million streams, right? So we did $10,484 in album sales, right? And extremely grateful for everybody that has participated in this pre-order, you feel me, and that has been supporting it. Putting out something like an album is always a person showcasing their art, you feel me, and letting you see their spirit. So I ain't just talking about it, I'm participating in it.
Right,
you feel me? I'm not just somebody who
support 19
is
keys
critiquing and criticizing, you feel me? I'm gonna do my part and put out my art. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mike Rashid also has an album that you can go stream that is on all major platforms.
Mike
So make sure you tap in
definitely
with my dear brother here. But I just really wanted to say thank you to everybody. This is an album that you can still pre-order, get instant access to. You can pay what you want, essentially. You can buy one song per individual. And we have a lot of things. We're working with this platform called Unreleased to put out a lot of this art. We're going to continue to have these conversations, make them bigger, better than ever. You feel me? And just try to have something that you can have some guidance in your life. Just listening to something that's different than what's here in the world, where you can take an hour out, or maybe it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's 2 hours, and get out the world, right? And this is where we have reflection. And we probably not going to be politically correct here ever. So, if that's your expectation, right, then you're at the wrong place. You're going to be disappointed every time. But if you expect us to be God body and talk about things the way we want to talk about it, based on the way we think about it at that specific moment from our reflections, then you came to the right place.
Yes, sir. And we cannot be true embodiment of God body without at least closing out with some words of God.
Yes, sir.
So all y'all watching us, let's just center yourselves, ground yourselves, feet flat, right? Put your devices down.
I was gonna give you some meditation music.
Nah. We gotta keep it pure for Allah. And we're just gonna say some words for Allah. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen.
Allahu Akbar. I'm gonna end it off where I play this song, and then that's gonna be the outro for y'all.
done been through it all.
Well, that's the end of the stream right there, man. We just got a high level conversation in, man. Shout out to 19 Keys and Mike Rashid. You know, they definitely was coming with some new information, you know, or just tightening up the screws, you know, already that was there, you know, and just adding some more tools to your toolbox. You know, do some reading, do some self time, get your me time on, um, do some reflecting on just like the person that you became and the things that you got. Don't worry about the things that you don't have. Be thankful. Keep pushing. Keep thriving. Never give up. Everybody falls. It only matters if you fall and you don't get up. That's the most important thing in your life. Keep pushing. You know, it's not about how many times you fail, it's about how many times you keep going, how many times you get up, how many times you tell yourself, I haven't had enough, I just begun. A failure is nothing but a lesson. So learn from it and do better because now you know better. It's easy to talk about other people and where they at in life, but then you got to reflect and see where you at in life. Is this really where you want to be? Is this where would you if you were 70 years old, would you be happy at all of the things that you did in life so far? If not, it's time to really start doing some things. It's really time to start taking them risks, the risks that you afraid to take. It don't matter. It don't matter if you're going to fail. That's nothing. The biggest millionaires, billionaires that you looking and seeing, they failed 25 times minimum. You probably never even failed over 10 times. So go fail some more so you can learn some more. And then when you learn some more, you're going to earn some more. And you don't got to always do it by yourself. You always got God in your corner, so stay prayed up. You know, just be thankful for the family you got, even if you don't have a big family. If you got somebody that's always there giving you that unconditional love, that's always saying you can do it, that's being your cheerleader, go give them a hug, give them a call, give them a text message. Just let them know I appreciate you, I love you, thank you for everything you ever done, and just try to reciprocate that same energy to somebody else or that same person that put it in you, you know, because we got to recycle that good energy. And that's the most important thing. What is he rapping?
Children.
Oh, he rapping. Yeah, so you know, because I know life can be hard, you know. Things can feel like it won't work out, but it will. You think about all of the problems you ever had in your life. You know, 5 years ago, you had some problem in your life. Guess what? It's over with. You know, there ended up being some type of solution. God came in there and hit you with a miracle. Some doctors might have told you was finna lose your life. Guess what? You still here. Time's still going. Cause why? God got the last word, not the world. So always rely on God when everything in the world is telling you no. Go to God because He gonna continue to tell you yes. He gonna give you a solution. He gonna give you somewhere to go. He gonna give you a plan. Because we sometimes, you know how we do, we make our own plans and the plans don't be no good for us. We start dating people that's no good for us. We start being friends with people that's no good for us. Pray that God show you who's supposed to be around you, who needs to be around you. Start getting in better rooms. You know, a lot of people get bad results because you go in places where you gonna get bad results. You gotta start going in rooms like out of your comfort zone. You know, go to a library. Just randomly go to a library. Whenever you think about it, like I need to read. Even if you're not gonna go read, just go to the library. Go walk around. You know, build it brick by brick. You don't have to be a professional at this. You don't have to instantly become a nerd. You know, do your thing. Keep going, keep thriving. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate everybody that hit the likes, hit the comments. It's your boy Rash, that dude, R-E-S-S. Hope your stress go to the wrong address. You know, make sure you drop your thoughts below and definitely tap in with 19 Keys and Mike Rashad. W Stream Rash, that dude.